Amazing. Ali.
Amazing. You managed. You can hear.
You want to be inside?
How fast did the car win?
Pretty fast.
I had the feeling you very late. Oh my God. You really, but you managed before. Did you?
I was on the other.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming and welcome Ali. Actually, we expected you a little bit later because you were talking with Carl Cox and Chris, right?
Yeah, I was on another panel and I got whisked over here very quickly. So thank you, ADE people.
Quick ride. Thank you for being here. Now Ali is already here, so he will join the panel from the beginning. I keep the introduction really short. Focus on Japan, as I said before. We did a short keynote speech before this panel about the cultural differences between the Japanese and the Western world, and how to do business and how to connect with each other on ADE and in general. I'm born in 72. So it's 47 years ago that the Technics turntables were invented. And that actually was like, how DJ being made possible, right? So that comes from Japan. And we have to say, like, there would not be any techno music, right? If there was no such advanced electronic industry from Japan. And without the Roland, there would be no acid, right? The 303, the 909. And if Tado Kikomoto, if I pronounce it well, if he didn't design that drum machine, then Jeff Mills and so many other people who use that wouldn't have that really like mind-melding drum patterns, right? And even with hip-hop later, and also the house and techno scene, we might not have taken off in the way they did it, like with all these equipment. And we also can go on about the Yamaha keyboards, the Korg synths, and so many other tools. Today we won't be talking about gear, but in a way we do with the people here on stage. And just introduce you briefly, I will do that because we don't have much time. We have a lot of speakers here. So we have Oshiro-san from VENT, club in Tokyo. We have Hito, Japanese DJ living in Berlin for 20 years already. We have Cana, head of bookings from Womp, club in Tokyo. And we have Ali Dubfire. And next to me is Moko. Moko also works for VENT, and he will be translating for Oshiro-san. So he understands really well what we talk about. And meanwhile, we also show some pictures. Oshiro-san, the hi-fi clubbing, right? It's very famous in Japan that the quality of the music and the quality of the sound system is really the highest of the highest quality. And you have listening bars that people are going to listen to music only for hours and hours. Just have a drink with your friends and go to a bar for the highest quality of music. Oshiro-san, VENT, the quality of your sound system is extremely beautiful. And so many people talk about it and want to go to the club. You started with this. Can you tell us a little bit more about the system in your club?
サウンドシステムについて、ポイントを挙げるとすると大きく分けると2つです。1つは皆さんご存知の通りスピーカーと、もう1つはルームアコースティック、この2点だと思います。
There are two big points. First is speaker. Second one is room acoustic.
1つ目のスピーカーについてですが、ベントを作るにあたってたくさんのスピーカーを、聞きに行きましたが、その中で日本の田口というメーカーのスピーカーを私たちは選びました。このスピーカーについて前知識とか評判とかは一切ない状態で聞きに行ったんですが、もう一聴した瞬間にこのスピーカーの違いははっきりと私には取ることができました。 で新しいテクノロジーのことは後から聞いたのですが、理論やヒストリーについても深く感銘を受け、このスピーカーを軸にサウンドシステムを作ろうと思いました。もし今日この話を聞いて興味がある方は、ベントのウェブサイトにはサウンドシステムページというページがありまして、英語ですごく詳しく記載があるので、よかったら見てみてください。
Right, first speaker, I went to check many speakers. During this process, I encountered the one by Taguchi, a Japanese maker. I had no knowledge about this. The impression was outstanding quality. I still remember the very first moment when I listened. I heard about the technology later, theory or history. I was deeply impressed. Therefore, I decided to make the sound system based on the speakers. How much I was impressed, you can see from our website link, we can show later. We made a special page about it. It's also written in English. If anyone is interested about the talk of us today, please check. It's more detailed info is in.
でここでは少しだけこのスピーカーの利点について簡単に説明させてください。
Okay, then here just a little bit we will explain how great these speakers are.
普通のスピーカーのユニットというのはこの画像のように円錐状になっています。通常はこの円錐状になっているんですが、私たちのスピーカーはユニットが平面になっています。ユニットが平面ですね、フラットになっています。以前から理論上はこの平面のユニットの方が音がいいということは解明されていたんですが、この駆動に耐えうる素材が地球上に存在していなかった。そのために全てのスピーカーが円錐になっていました。で近年になって宇宙開発が進んでいくにつれてアルミハニカムという構造の金属が登場して、このアルミハニカムの素材であればフラットユニットが作れるのではというところから研究が始まって出来上がったスピーカーです。
To ask you, Oshiro-san, before you answer, that you can also get back to the feedback from the crowd on the speaker. If you translate his answer, to also ask him for the feedback from the crowd on the speaker.
Should I first tell what
Yeah.
he says? Mm-hmm. All right, usually speakers unit conical phones, but this speaker is more flat plane. Theoretically, I knew that plane unit is better. There was no material existed in the world which is feasible with the drive of plane unit. After many of trials and errors over the years, recently honeycomb formed aluminum is introduced that is normally used for the space development. Their challenge and the inspiration of, this might be feasible with plane unit. Finally, this speaker was born. This is new institution, the world's first one as a giant speaker for concert hall. This plane unit, which was born after the long trials and research, made the result, has proved the theoretical supremacy and brought a surprising benefit. The waveforms with less difference of phase and time has finally succeeded to create the most possible gentle, natural, high-resolution sound which no other sound system could never make. Do you want to ask the
Yes, please. Yeah.
お客さんからのフィードバックはどんな感じですか？
初めはですね、音が小さいというふうに言われてたんですけど、私たちはお客さんの耳が大音量にさらされて難聴の人が増えている問題に対してすごく危機感を持っていたので、いい音を適量で流すことについて初めのうちはすごくお客さんの音が小さいというフィードバックがあったんですけど、今はすごく感謝されているというか、他のクラブに行くと音が大きすぎて入れないとか、そういうことをフィードバックしてもらいます。
We are talking about the feedback from the audience who comes very often. In the beginning, when we started 3 years ago, people said why it's so lower volume, why it's not so loud. It was by purpose. He cared about the damage to the ears for the clubbers. So the beginning, a little complaint happened, but then when they get used to, there is a certain appropriate level of volume, but you can still listen good music, so which is not too loud. But now they got used to, now many people likes our sound system, which is not too loud, but which you can listen really good quality of music.
So for anyone, has anyone been in Tokyo here in the audience? And not the Japanese here, please, but yeah. Anyone has been to the club from Oshiro in VENT? No one? Okay. I mean, we try to explain here, right? It's a very technical thing in a way, and that's for a reason, right? I mean, everything what's coming from Japan has this high quality. So, of course, it's a dry information, so I can say, okay, you have to go to Tokyo to experience it yourself. But the great thing, actually, what we want to share with you, and of course you only can see that if you're there, but they license out their system, so it will probably be in other clubs in the world as well, that the damage to your ear is none. The system is made not only for the acoustic, but for the quality of the sound, that you really enjoy electronic music. But Oshiro-san is really afraid, and I'm really afraid because I'm in this business for 30 years and I also have like a tinnitus, and who doesn't maybe now or in the future, like 50% of the people might be deaf, going often to clubs or festivals with bad sound system or too loud. So the Club of VENT is really made for that we enjoy clubbing, where we communicate with each other. They also have a beautiful tree in the club, so it's really like, yeah, sustainable in a way and feels really natural. So it's kind of a living room where you can really party hard. So if you can show more pictures, Oshiro-san, some pictures that we can show. And then we want to talk with Cana from WOMP as well, because sound, come on, if you open a club, right, what's the first thing you do? It's the sound system, right? The DJs will come in later, the programming, the marketing, it's the sound system. So thank you, Oshiro-san, for sharing this. And anyone who's going to Tokyo, please check this club and give feedback to us, to anyone, like what the differences are that you are used to. And Cana, we go back in time, right, almost 20 years ago when WOMP opened. Can you share us?
First, I'm from WOMP Tokyo. My name is Cana, and I'm taking care of the international artists for 10 years now. And maybe some of you guys know about the WOMP, but I would like to share the video with you. Can we play the WOMP video, please? That's so you know what it's all about, Shibuya and then WOMP.
So it takes the pressure off you to have to explain it.
Easier. This is Shibuya. And from the station, when you walk towards WOMP, this is the entrance. Can you make a light a little bit less light, please? So in 2016, we made a new balcony so the people can look down on the main dance floor from the 3rd floor. This is quite new. So we've been selected for the top 100. So thank you very much. And Hito and Ali, as you know, they are the regular artists who play for WOMP for 10 years, 20 years?
15.
15 years. And Hito played 2 weeks ago at WOMP. And how was Tokyo?
Amazing.
Amazing?
Yes, still like a lot of passion for the music, people enjoy.
And WOMP has so much love, and I love WOMP, and I just want to share you what's the owner's philosophy about WOMP. He went 20 years ago visiting New York, and he was taken to a club called Twilo. And then, back then, he was absorbed the night culture about New York. He was so amazed by that. And he just wanted to bring that culture, nightlife, and beauty about the culture, melting spot back to Tokyo. So he opened the WOMP in 2000, just 2000. And the first guest he wanted to invite was Junior Vasquez. And back then, Junior Vasquez didn't want to travel around the world except Ministry of Sound in London. So we started negotiating with Junior Vasquez's agent, and then Junior Vasquez says he would only play for the sound system, which was Club Faison sound system. So our owner had a lot of money anyway, so he didn't want to give, nobody was bullshitting with him. So he just bought the Faison sound system easily. Tac, okay, if Junior Vasquez wants that sound system, we will install it. And then Junior Vasquez couldn't say no to us. So there you go, we successfully invited Junior Vasquez, and the premier tickets back then was $100. It was first time we are selling the VIP tickets in Tokyo, and tickets was sold out. We had a long queue from WOM entrance to the next street, and 2000 April successfully opened for the brand new club in Tokyo. That was born of a history of WOM. And then after that, for the first year, we actually struggled. We only have 20 people on the dance floor for 1 year. So then we thought, I wasn't working for them that time. So my senior friend, Yuki, he installed me all this little secret to me. So now I can talk. And then he flew to London because he was the booker, ex-booker for WOM. He's a little like a big brother for me, and he went to each club negotiating with each artist and begging artists, please come to play for us. That was 20 years ago, WOM, what was happening. And then Ali, Richie Houghton, Carl Craig, Kevin Sanderson, Sasha, John Digweed, they all agreed to it. So they flew all the way to Japan, and we threw the party, and boom, oh my God. And with the sound, Faison sound system, rocking party, and one of the party, actually police came to try to shut it down. But what we did, we locked the door, nobody allowed to enter our party, so we carried on. This is the spirit of WOM. You know, nowadays, maybe some people may think we do overground music, like we went a little bit off track, you know. We did a little bit of EDM. I'm not negative about it, but you know, that's not very WOM. So what we want to do is that back to the roots and try to do what we really love to do and try to reach people's heart. That's what we are trying to do, and that can attract more people, I think. That's what we are, our beliefs anyway. And Ali's confirmed for next January 18th at WOM. And are you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, no, always. I mean, that's why I've been playing there for 15 plus years. But I think, you know, the Japanese obviously have been at the forefront of like the technology that you know, artists and DJs, whatever, have used, you know, for generations, you know, around the world. But I think the Japanese have always been obsessed about like Western culture.
We are, yeah.
And that's why, like, when I think I first came over in 1998, and I was playing Air and
Yellow was
and
there?
Yellow. Yellow was open. And these were clubs that, I mean, I was playing in New York. I was playing in Sound Factory Bar, Shelter, all these clubs. And when I came over, I'd heard from all the DJs, you know, the classic New York house DJs who, Francois Kevorkian and people like that, who were regularly already coming over. I heard how dedicated the Japanese were to, you know, the conditions that a lot of the New York clubs established for the perfect, you know, nightclub experience, you know, in terms of the sound, the emphasis on the sound, the emphasis on the atmosphere, acoustics, you know, the turntables, you know, like having the right gear in the booth and everything like that. And the Japanese were very adept at taking that and refining it, making it even better. And it showed, like, in terms of the enthusiasm of the Japanese crowds that would come over to hear us play. I'd heard that, you know, the way the Japanese express, I mean, nobody was really on their phone. I mean, you didn't have cell phones back then.
No smartphone. That was a secret, Maya.
But still,
it?
to this day, the
Focus on the
Japanese, like, when they go out to, like, Vent or Womb or whatever like that, you don't see everybody with smartphones, you know, in their hands.
I do, actually.
Everyone is always, like, you know, was always facing the DJ, and, you know, you'd have, like, grown men screaming like women at the top of their lungs whenever there was, like, you know, a breakdown in the music, whatever, like, basically feeding you their energy. And for us as DJs to be so far away from home, wherever home was, but to have this familiar feeling of, you know, the perfect clubbing experience. It's the reason why, besides being a Japanophile and obsessed with all things Japanese, that's why I felt so comfortable and so at home. And I kept coming back more and more.
Can you share shortly, Ali? Obsessed, you say obsessed, right? That's a word you hear more often, right? And that's something from Japan.
It's not a negative thing. It's just
no,
like,
but
yeah.
Obsessed in a positive way. What did you make? What were the things that you came back and again and again and again and loves?
Well, I mean, I grew up going and playing at all these, you know, iconic New York clubs. I played Sound Factory, you know, like from Junior Vasquez's DJ booth, which was an apartment, by the way. It was like a 2-level apartment. Like, imagine having that as a DJ booth these days, you know. It was just the attention to detail. There was nothing overlooked. And to this day, you know, obviously it's now extended over into an obsession about EDM culture and the characters, and, you know, because they're kind of like anime.
We talk about
they're
that
very
later at
cartoonish,
5.
you know, like, you know, Marshmallow and Deadmau5 or whatever. So the Japanese have become obsessed about those kinds of characters. But you still have people dedicated to preserving, like, you know, the art form. And they've always understood what DJs bring to musically to this environment that they've created. And so it's a very collaborative process, and there's a lot of mutual respect, you know, that they have with us and that we have for their dedication to their craft and giving us the platform to express ourselves in the best possible conditions.
Ali, where you came for the first time 20 years ago to Japan, Hito, actually you left Japan 20 years ago, right?
Yes.
You moved to Berlin. What did
I've
you
been-
decide to leave Japan?
Well, I was, you know, when I finished, like, my study, I just left for home because I been used to traveling also. I studied also London, Florence, or Munich, and Berlin. And I really enjoy the clubbing in Europe. And I was always like clubbing in Europe. So then, you know, I thought, okay, I go. And then a coincidence, like, I meet a lot of friends, like, who is doing the live set, DJing, and I was just joining them, jamming them. Then one promoter said, yeah, you're gonna play then, like every Wednesday. It was Mariam Ostbahnhof in Berlin, very underground club, maybe Mokonos. And so then I became like, it was like a gift for me to do music. I was not really expected me to be. But then, you know, I stay here, and they really, Berlin loves me. I love Berlin. So I grew up with the music. I met Richie there, 2008. Then connected with sake, my culture. Then I come back to, you know, because of this, I come back to Japan again through music. And then for me, it was really like everything is new for me. You know, I grown up in Japan, but then I go to Berlin and keeping doing my music, then go back to Japan again, and then to see my culture like a really distance way. then I thought, okay, what can I do? You know, Berlin, I maybe, first of all, I'm not really into techno, more like a different kind of music, like break beats or hip hop. Then, you know, Berlin made me like a minimal techno, this underground culture scene, and I was grabbing. Then come back to Japan with Sake Project, Womb Adventure, and all this enter came. I met
Hito presents Otto as well.
yeah. Then I met Ali, this enter, Cana, and then now I'm having a Hito presents Otto. Otto means sound in Japanese. So I am in between the culture. Then I really want to connect. Like, but wherever we comes, like music make us connect, you know, and then I really feel this sharing. And then this is my kind of mission to keep going. And then I see like in between all culture, like not only Europe, Japan, and you know, there is also USA, South America, all like a different culture in between, but what we have to do is like a sharing. And I think it's so beautiful to share with the music, whatever, like technically, or, you know, like a passionate, or sake, like our culture in between. But I think this is what we are doing as a DJ. Like maybe some DJs are different than the other one, but I think in my way of like in between the culture is means like this is a lot.
Yeah, like I think the cool thing about Hito, besides being like a beast in the DJ booth, like musically she's a fantastic DJ, but she always asserted her Japanese traditions and culture by wearing a kimono while she DJs, and she's gotten really into like the kimonos, and you have like a tailor making them custom for you now, because they became like a trademark, you know, kind of outfit. I guess it puts you. Does it put you in the mood?
Yeah,
does it make you? Does it inform your how you play?
Yeah, this is like a uniform for me to like go to the stage and who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's always been nice to see, like for
you.
all of us Western DJs, you know, techno DJs, to see you in your kimono playing amazing techno. So.
You both have been traveling a lot. Ali, of course, for a really long time, and Hito as well. Now you really lifted up as a DJ career the last 20 years. Cana, what Hito just sharing with you is that you started with womb travel, right? So to travel around, to get connected, and to learn from all those cultures, right? What did you make that start?
So after 20 years of experience having a club in Tokyo, we have so many connections around the world. But then we realized that actually Japan is very isolated, and then they have island mentality. So Japanese people should travel more and to meet more people and broaden up their mind. That's why we have launched a new project. It's called Womb Travel. And me and Hito, we went to Dubai together, and then also with Ali, we travel internally inside Japan to explore more authentic culture, not only Tokyo, but when you go to outside of Tokyo, there's a hot spring, natural spa sort of things, and also sake brewery visiting. That's why Ali is coming back every year for the winter season, just for that.
I've arranged, I don't know who's got the sake bottles, but I've arranged a sake delivery for everyone here.
Do we have sake
so I'm sure
bottles
you're thirsty.
now?
Is there anyone here in the audience who know or knows sake? Is there any sake lovers here? Yeah, okay, so the bottle will be empty.
That's the one I've...
That's
for
from
you.
our owner.
Okay. I arranged for 2 giant bottles of sake.
Oh, let's wait for
everyone.
that.
Whoever's got it, whoever received
Ali.
it, please start sharing it with the audience.
That would be so nice. That's
Ali, can you are a master already, or are you becoming a master in sake?
No, I mean, you know, we drink when we're playing. And over the years, I got tired of Jägermeister and Red Bull vodka and whatever else is on our rider or that we tried out. And I just realized that I wanted more of a pure alcoholic experience to help me get in the mood. And it wasn't just me, it was like, I've known Richie Houghton for more than 20 years, and he was always obsessed with Japanese culture, and especially sake, and we always talked about our love of sake. And, Rich took classes with this. He's actually an American who living in Japan for the last 35 years. And that guy became so obsessed with sake. I think he was a biochemist or something like that. And just wanted to devote his life to teaching, Westerners. And he speaks fluent Japanese, so Japanese is, as well. But people from around the world take his class. So Rich took his class, and it's like 5 days intensive, 2 levels, and then there's a big exam at the end. But basically, you're getting certified to be an alcoholic. Sampling 130 sakes in 5 days.
Day. 6, you have to do testing.
But it's like the more doors that you open. I mean, sake for the novice can be, their experience is probably the sake bomb or really awful sake in a cheap sushi restaurant. But once you've had like premium sake, which is what I brought for everyone today, and you start learning about it, you take classes, you realize just how deep the knowledge goes. You go down the rabbit hole of like one door opening another, and pretty soon you're lost in this maze of different sake styles, and there's regionality and terroir and all this stuff. But for me, it became something that I require actually to put me in the right head state.
Is it like how do you do this? It's like a half an hour before you start your set, or when do you take your sake?
Well,
what is the time?
Before to put you in the mood, and then throughout to keep you in the mood.
The extra long sets, right, Ali?
But it's just to kind of recap my love of sake and Japanese culture. It's like it's one of many things that kept me and others, people like Richie Houghton, kept us completely obsessed and enamored with Japanese culture and coming back every year. Of course, there were the nightclubs and sound systems, the cuisine, the rich culture, and it's quite interesting to watch their obsession with Western culture. I mean, if you ever had pizza in Japan, it's a mind-blowing experience. I mean, like that rivals or surpasses some of the best pizzerias in the world, including Naples. And it just goes to show how dedicated and how obsessive in nature, because us artists, we're quite obsessive people, and it was nice to identify the same kind of character traits and character flaws within the Japanese.
The other way around, Hito, you told me that because you live in this part of the world for 20 years now, you see so many great things here in the West, and then talking about a professional view on our industry, on your own profession as a DJ producer. And you told me that, like, hey, Japan is totally different in a way, like how DJs get booked to venues. Can you tell us what is missing there?
Japan has so good hospitality, hearts, warm, welcoming. And on the other side, like, I became as an artist. Then Europe or Western culture has form, which is artist, agency, promoter, and venue. This is like layers of the formation, how we work with this industry, right? But in Japan, some, like a promoter and venue, the same. It's often happen in the world, but artist has to do, like, as an agent. Artist, like the promoter asks artist to have a booking. But then artist has to do this process, even logistic and everything. So I was wondering, like, why, an artist and then you play music and this is your focus, or maybe you do your production, but why you have to do this added different kind of job on a parallel way? Because I think this is a little weak point to have this, this form, not to have this form. You got
so you
it?
mean like the focus you have, right, as a DJ and a producer should be on performing and should be on producing music. If you are an artist in Japan and you want to be booked to Oshiro's club in VENT or to Cana's club in VOOM, then by the way, you also should make the flyer design for it and do everything, the marketing and the bookings yourself. There is no manager, there is no publisher, there's no, let's say, a 360 circle around the artist, which you are used to here in the West when you see, hey, there's one DJ, but who are all the other persons around that DJ? Yeah, that's somebody or hired by the DJ, or there are some companies around it, which makes the life of a DJ not only easier, but also more focused on what the DJ could achieve. And you really would like to help. Now Japan is opening up again from the electronic music scene, because next year it's 2020. The Olympic Games are coming up to Tokyo. Actually, the country has like a big campaign. It's called Cool Japan. And here for ADE, we would love to share and get connected also today when we finish here with the networking and drinks. So many people from the industry here are on ADE, right? And they are really good in what they do. They only do publishing. They only do bookings.
Yeah.
They only do management, right? Or design, or your PR and marketing is now very hot right now. I mean, you have so many PR agencies. They're almost bigger than DJ agencies because you need to do the PR. But what you say
yes, I see somehow like a model world in Japan, or in a way like overground music world. I think they have this structure more or less, but I play this techno scene, tech house. I don't know if I say underground but this scene it has really weak this point. So I wanna maybe help the other DJs or from the Japanese DJ from Japan, but they don't know how to grow, or they don't know how to like go in the international.
How do you see that, Cana? How do you see that? Because what he was telling, you are really professional in doing the bookings, right?
Yeah, luckily, WOOM has each department, booking department and also press department, also taking care of the venue side and artist liaison. It's all separated. But then it's only exists in Tokyo. I'm sure the VENT is as well. But then if you go to somewhere else apart from Tokyo, and one manager does everything. And especially in Japan, I think the venue is more stronger than artists. So whenever venue requests the artist has to say yes to it. There's no negotiation. Well, we can negotiate, but at the end of the day, always venue win the game. So, sorry. I know it's not fair, Jesse, but that's what Hito is trying to say, because in Europe, each department has their own work, and then separated.
So like
right?
I feel like protected by agency, press, and so therefore I can really work and concentrate what I have to do.
Oshiro-san, is that the same for you? Maybe Moko, you can translate. We talk about all these layers in the clubs.
Yep.
I see, Oshiro-san, you have also a lot of job titles, right? You're creative director, you're executive producer, you're also program director. So you do a lot of things on your own. Is that for a reason?
まだ私たちは3年目ですごく若いクラブなので、私がほとんどトップダウンでやってるんですけど、理想としてはやっぱり分かれてた方がより良い仕事ができるとは思います。ただ一人でやってることによってスピードが速い。 っていう利点はあるんですけど、将来的には分かれた方がいいと思ってます。
Our club is just 3 years old, so now he's doing all alone. Of course, he has a staff though, but he's deciding most of the things all alone. So in future, he would love to separate all these sections. Though the merit is he can decide it's quick.
Yeah.
He can have all the overview. It's quick. This is a benefit.
You have been really working hard before you started and opened up VENT. And I would say anyone who's going to Tokyo, definitely check out the club VENT and also check out WOMP. And there's so many other great clubs in Tokyo. We cannot have everyone here on stage, of course, but definitely on Asia Konnekt we will bring more clubs, more festivals, more industry people from Asia on ADE here for Asia Konnekt. And yeah, Ali as almost sake master, where we are going to taste his bottles, right?
Do we have sake bottles here now?
Yeah, it's when we do this when we finish the panel, so we have a break for 10 minutes before we go to the next panel. But before we leave this panel, are there any questions in the audience to any one of the speakers? Yes? You want to drink sake already?
What was the
Which
question?
sake is it? Is it Richie's sake or which brand?
No, there's like, I became friends with a guy who's, he's Dutch, and he speaks fluent Japanese. He teaches in Japan, Japanese, I'm not sure exactly, Japanese history or something. But anyway, we became friends, and he's got a distribution company called Yoi Gogochi, and he lives half the year in Japan, the other half in Amsterdam. And he's an older guy, but he's a raver, and he loves the fact that I love sake, and I like the fact that he's an old raver who is a sake distributor and completely obsessed with it and has a deep knowledge of it, far surpasses what I've learned. And every time I play in Amsterdam, I let him know beforehand, and he sends a few boxes over to my hotel room, and then I bring him with me to the festival. And the sake that he provided for us today is a ginjo. If there's one word, I can't really take up much time speaking about the intricacies of the sake industry, but I'll just tell everyone, if there's one word to remember, is the word ginjo. If you're ever in a restaurant, you want to order sake, just gravitate towards wherever you see the word ginjo, or ask the waiter or the sommelier, and you're going to be like in the premium kind of category. And if it's your first time drinking sake, it's going to be really delicious, and hopefully entice you into learning more about it. But this sake is Nabeshima Ginjo from Saga Prefecture, which is in the northwestern part of Kyushu, which is in the southwestern part of Japan. So sake is very territorial.
Thank you, Ali.
And I'll leave it at that.
Everyone will have a sip later on, and we keep on focus on Japan. The final panel today, which starts at 4:15, is also focused on Japan. And the panel after this will be focused on Taiwan, and then we focus on South Korea. But time for another question finally. Selman?
I have one question for
Huh?
Hello, Marco, if you could help me translate, I have one question for Keiichiro.
To club.
Yeah, as you know, I've been running venues in China
Sure.
for over a decade, for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's an Asia Konnekt, but we're seeing a lot more problems with the police and sound levels and loud sound levels. And I was really interested to see if in Japan, having a sound system where the sound is at a really comfortable volume for ravers, not loud, doesn't create issues. Because, in Asia, older people have a lot more respect in culture. So in China, for example, you can have a venue with 500 people in it, but if one older gentleman or older woman can't sleep at night and she calls the police, the whole venue shuts down. And that's part of the culture. And I wanted to ask in Japan if you have a similar thing where by having, the way you've done it in your club, lower sound levels, more involvement with the people and not just sort of blasting out the parties, if it fits better into the culture, as I think it really would in China actually, for particularly the way things are being managed now with the nighttime economy.
Can you translate that shortly?
So you want to know how
I want to know
we are
basically
doing regarding this and
regarding the sound levels and the way he's designed the system, if he thinks it's actually a practical approach also to dealing with, for example, if you're in a more less commercial area, more residential area, maybe there's people living nearby, if it just sort of fits into the culture, because I know from my experience in Japan as well, elder people and people in society have much more status than they do in Europe.
ベントではあんまり大音量にしないように心がけているということですが、ざくっと話したちも近隣の人の問題だとかそういったこととか、例えばネイバーのおばあちゃんがいるとか、例えばそのクラブのある場所でその音量はどの音量を抑えた状況でどういうふうに対策は取っていますかと、周りとの問題とか。
私たちはもうクラブを作る段階で音についてを第一に考えて作ってたので、防音はかなりシビアに初めからお金の割合を割いて防音だけはしっかりやろうということで努めました。
So from the very beginning, so he was aware of this problem. So very beginning, he has put a lot of money, a lot of percentage of the budget for the sound isolation for the neighbors. So that was a lot of effort and cost he already put beforehand. Yeah.
Thank you very
Time
much.
is up, sorry, but anyone who likes to get connected, at 5 o'clock we do a networking and drinks here in this room, so you can meet anyone from the Asian scene, the club scene and festival scene and the industry. Next panel will be focused on Taiwan, so we will be sharing more information there. And for now, thank you, Oshiro-san, thank you, Hito, thank you, Cana,
Thank you.
and thank you, Ali.